Munoz, you're going to be our new chairperson. I'll announce that in a minute. Go ahead and call the meeting to order, and I'll read the narrative.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:02.
Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the Mission Bay Park Committee. My name is Mike Rodriguez. I'm the staff liaison for the Mission Bay Park Committee. We are conducting this meeting as a Zoom webinar to provide greater accessibility. Members of the public may join the meeting as a webinar attendee in order to provide virtual, non-agenda, and agenda comment in real time. As a refresher, please take note of the buttons on the control bar to mute and unmute and to turn on and off your cameras. Please remember to stay muted when you're not talking and to unmute yourselves when you speak. As a reminder, you may type speak in the chat window if you'd like to speak or make a motion for a second. Committee members should refrain from using the hand raising function. Please use the chat window when you'd like to speak, and Chairperson Munoz will call on you in order. Finally, please refrain from using the meeting chat for anything other than if you're signaling that you'd like to speak to comply with the Brown Act. On agenda public comment, those of members of the public in attendance wishing to speak, please click the button to raise your hand and indicate that you'd like to comment, and I will enable you to speak and send you a prompt to unmute yourself in order. When I call your name, please state your name for the record, and we'll have 3 minutes to provide comment, after which you'll be placed on mute again. If you are joining via phone, please press *9 to raise your hand, and I will call on you. Last 4 digits of your phone number. Thank you, Ms. Chair. And I do have an announcement. So hot off the press from the mayor's office, it is our pleasure to appoint Judith Munoz as the chair of the Mission Bay Park Committee effective immediately. The appointment of Dr. Munoz as chair as our new chair is named per the Municipal Code section 2630E. So congratulations, Judith. You've newly appointed chair. And there you go, a little hand clapping there. And before we send farewell to Paul Robinson, our chair, I'd like to welcome again our newest member, and that is Marshall Anderson. So everybody know Marshall. Would you like to say a kind word and introduce yourself once again?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Hey, everyone, Marshall Anderson. Gosh, lifelong user of Mission Bay. Excited to be here, excited to give back. I see Stacy and a bunch of wonderful faces here. You guys have been my inspiration. And Mr. Robinson, I'll just make my comments now. I know we chatted the other day, but just want to say thank you for the years of public service you've provided in support of Mission Bay Park. I'm sure I'll be reaching out for a lot of counsel in the weeks and days ahead. But I just want to say it means a lot to be able to follow in your footsteps, certainly some large shoes to fill. But just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Marshall, I'm honored that you are filling my spot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, so what we want to do on the agenda here is we want to basically say farewell to Paul Robinson. He's been a valuable member of our Mission Bay Committee for many years. I counted about 12 years if I went back in past minutes. And I did review the minutes back when Stacy Medico was director, and she actually welcomed you in 2009, I think it was. So with that, as a department representative, I'd like to thank you. And I have a little memento I'd like to bring by your office or your house. It's from the Parks and Recreation Department. It's a little plaque that you can find a little place, an acrylic plaque, and Bill Overstreet's actually on the call today, and he went and picked this up for you, Paul. So you mean a lot to us in Parks and Recreation, and it's an appreciation for your dedication and devotion to the Mission Bay Park Committee and the entire Mission Bay Park community from 2009 to present 2021. So congratulations, Paul. Thank you very much from the Parks and Recreation Department.
Thank you, Mike, and thank to the Park and Recreation Department.
So with that, I want to, before we have a couple people that want to say some kind words, Andy Field joined us this evening, and we actually have a message from our mayor, Todd Gloria. So here's Andy Field.
Thank you, Mike, and good evening, everyone. First of all, congratulations, Judith, on your appointment as chair, and congratulations, Paul, on all of the service you've done. I am very honored to have worked with you over the years and look forward to working with you on other things, but the work you've done for Mission Bay has been second to none. And I want to share with you a proclamation that Mayor Todd Gloria has here today, proclaiming today, May 4th, 2021, as being Paul Robinson Day in the city of San Diego. And I'll read to you now the proclamation. Whereas Paul has generously demonstrated his commitment to bettering our communities as he served as a Mission Bay Park Committee chair from 2009 to 2021. Whereas Paul devoted his time to chairing of the Mission Bay Park and Mission Bay Park Improvement Fund Oversight Committee. Whereas Paul's work has greatly benefited the goals of the mayor's office and the values of the city of San Diego for over a decade. Whereas in his leadership capacities, Paul acted with principles and vision, especially as he oversaw funding for multiple projects in Mission Bay. Whereas Paul cultivated a collaborative and meaningful relationship with Mission Bay residents, especially as the chair of the De Anza Revitalization Ad Hoc Committee. Whereas Paul led the revitalization of significant public spaces for recreation and community development, including Dog Beach and the Maruta Gardner Playground at West Bonita Cove. Whereas during his tenure, Paul reimagined the possibilities for Mission Bay by overseeing the development of hundreds of acres to build ecologically oriented recreational opportunities. Whereas Paul consistently advanced our city's goals by enhancing natural environments, including the preservation and integration of marshland habitats with community spaces. Whereas his initiatives furthered our city's efforts to improve park water quality, provide for diverse wildlife, and safeguard vulnerable ecosystems. And whereas Paul set a consistently high standard for engagement in the Mission Bay Park community and has contributed to building public spaces that benefit all of us, now therefore be it proclaimed that Mayor Todd Gloria, the 37th mayor of the city of San Diego, for and behalf of the people of San Diego, do hereby proclaim today, May 4th, 2021, as Paul Robinson Day in the city of San Diego in recognition for his dedicated service to his communities. Paul, congratulations and thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Mayor Gloria, for that beautiful proclamation. That was really well done. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I have a comment I'd like to make
Go ahead,
regarding
Carrie.
Paul. So Council President Campbell has a special accommodation also for Paul Robinson. So we want to thank you for everything you did with the Mission Bay Park Committee. You've really helped the city, and we thank you for that. And I'd like to get your address at some point so I can get this over to you. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you so much, Carrie, and please thank the Council President. That was very, very well done. Thank you.
Okay, we do have a couple special guests here today, and if you want to speak, I'm going to go ahead and call Stacy Medico. You made the travels to our Zoom meeting, so go ahead if you want to say some words.
Well, first of all, thank you. And I can't even believe I was here when you first came to the first meeting as chair, and I'm going to be at your last meeting. It's hard to believe it was 2009. I had the deep privilege of being the Park and Recreation Director from 07 to 13. And so I worked with Paul from 09 to 13. And Paul, I can say three things: alcohol, dogs, and fire pits. You can think of all the things that has gone on with the dredging project, Prop J, Mission Bay, the parking lots, but what sums it up is Fiesta Island Precise Plan. And of course, we have free PV and the alcohol ban. And then, of course, we've had also the fire pits. And through all of it, Paul, you always came with your briefcase. You always walked into the room on time, spot on, professional, calm demeanor. And some of those meetings you may remember, I think we were at the Catamaran or the Mission Bay for one of the Fiesta Island, and we didn't have a room large enough. And you just took control, and you've always been there. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you because you could have been on so many different boards and so many different community or organizations, and you chose to stay with us. And we are privileged for that. So thank you very much for your commitment to your community and your time. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you around Mission Bay.
You certainly will. Stacy, thank you so much from the beginning to the end now. You've been with me, so thank you so much.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks for joining us. We have a couple more guests. Namara Mercer, she's with our Leasee Association. Namara, do you want to talk? You're on mute, Namara. Try unmuting. There you go. We still can't hear you there. Are we able to unmute? So your mic's not working, Namara. We're gonna put something, we're gonna work on that. So we'll come back to you. We also have Betsy Brennan. Betsy Brennan, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Paul.
Hi,
I'm
Betsy.
Betsy Brennan. It's so nice to see everybody here this evening. I'm seeing a lot of really great, dedicated friends and staff members and also community members. It's really nice and refreshing to see all of your commitment. And it's a really, really important group. And you do it day after day and week after week and month after month. And you're here for the community and for the parks. So thank you to everybody here. And also, of course, welcome my colleague, Marshall Anderson at the Downtown Partnership to your group, and really hope that that you take a lot of the joy I find working with Marshall, and you find that in the Mission Bay Committee too. And now to Paul. So Paul Robinson, you know, I have to say, I didn't even realize Paul was on the Mission Bay Committee until about a year ago. And that is just crazy. But if you're not in District 1 and you're not downtown, you're kind of out of my zone. But those are where I've spent a lot of time with many of you here. So just wanted to thank Paul. I started to do some research and just to see how long and how dedicated he has been to the Mission Bay Committee, and going back to 2009 and being a steward of Prop C and Measure J and all of those things. But kind of funny that Stacy brought up what she did. I was just in a text exchange with a couple people, including Marshall, the other day, and we said, how does it always come back to alcohol, parking, seals, beaches? Everything always comes back to those things. And so here you are in the middle of many of those issues, just being a wonderful steward of San Diego. And I'm just proud to be your friend and your colleague. And you've been a member of our board for a long, long time, supporting downtown and then supporting Mission Bay and so many other parts of San Diego. And your dedication is just amazing. I'm so proud and happy to call you my friend, and happy to be here tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Betsy. I'm so proud and happy to call you my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Yeah, you didn't mention fire rings and dogs, but that was mentioned. That's still going on. Okay, we have another Brian. Is it Pepin? Oh, I'm gonna try Namara. Namara, can you?
Did that work, Mike?
Yeah, that works. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Let's try this one again. Paul, on behalf of the Mission Bay Lessees Association, thank you for your masterful and thoughtful stewardship of Mission Bay Park. Mission Bay is iconic and deserves the best of the best to oversee its future, and that describes you to a T. Your leadership on such fun topics like Fiesta Island General Development Plan, Measure J, and the De Anza Revitalization Plan have shown that you are committed to selfless public service. I was in those meetings and I know that that means selfless. We wish you all the best in your next endeavors, and whatever they might be, I know that they will be a benefit to San Diego. So thank you very much for leading Mission Bay.
Thank you, Namara. And thank you for all you do for Mission Bay.
Sir.
That's great. Thanks, Namara. All right, so we have Brian, is it Pepin from the San Diego Lincoln Club? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Great to be here. Good to see some old friends. Hey, Stacy and Andy, and it's great to be here. And congratulations, Marshall, for being on the committee. You're all going to love working with Marshall, and so glad to be here. Paul I know he was a good chairman of the committee because he was my chairman at the Lincoln Club a few short years ago and was phenomenal. I mean, one of those dream chairmen to work for that, you know, just always had my back, you know, really moved the organization in a nonpartisan direction like we'd been trying for years. And so his leadership there was fantastic. And I know it has been at the committee. I rode on the San Diego State crew team when I was in college, and I'm an on-back member. And so a frequent user of the park, and you guys have just done such an incredible job. And Paul, as chairman, you've done an amazing job. I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for San Diego for so long, especially on this committee. And just thanks for allowing me to say a few words.
Thank you,
Thank you
Brian.
very much. You got a lot of clapping hands. That's great. Christina Chadwick, I'm going to go ahead and call on you. I know I don't have you down, but do you want to say something?
Sure. I just wanted to say again, like everybody else, Paul, thank you so much for your leadership and for welcoming me to the Mission Bay community when I started this job. I have to say that in every turn in my career, you have been there in more ways than not, whether it was in Mayor Jerry Sanders' office or Mayor Faulkner's office, Lincoln Club, Mission Bay, you name it. You've always been there, and you've been doing such an incredible work for our community and across the city. So thank you. We're very appreciative for everything that you've done here, and I know that you'll continue to do great things in the years to come. So this isn't goodbye, but it's more thank you than anything else. So thanks.
Thank you, Christina.
Okay, I know everybody wants to say something. David Potter, go ahead, and you raised your hand. So I'll let David talk, and I know Bill Overstreet wanted to say something.
Paul, it's been a real pleasure with you working on the Mission Bay Park Committee. I met you a long time ago when you were in Pete Wilson's office. It was probably sometime in the 70s.
Now you're really dating yourself, David.
I know, and you too.
Right, you're dating us both.
It's been a real pleasure. And I wish you all the best in the future, Paul.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bill. You got a second.
Paul, I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you for all you've done. I didn't know much about Mission Bay, and Stacy brought me over in 2014, and it started bringing me to some of these Mission Bay Park Committee meetings, and you really ran a nice tight ship, and you had some meetings that were very controversial, and you didn't, and not at any time did any of them get out of control. And I really respected that about somebody running, a chairperson running the meeting. And I just wanted to say congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for your service.
Right, Bill's getting a little emotional there, Bill. All right, Paul, I do want to say farewell. Thank you very much for everything you've done. And if you want to say some closing words, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Mike. I cannot tell you how touched and honored I am for all of the things that have been said tonight by dear friends and people who I've served with on this committee for the last 12 years. It has been an absolute privilege to be able to serve our great community in an area that it has a special place in my heart. Mission Bay always has and always will be. So I have just been blessed with all of the great staff that I have worked with, and all of the wonderful committee members that have been so great in serving their community also in the Mission Bay Park. So thank you again for a very, very special evening. You cannot believe how I feel about this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Judith Munoz. We do have a meeting. Some of you can stay with us if you'd like. There is a presentation today from Nicole with the Ocean Beach Planning Group. They're going to talk about some park amenities that they're looking for. Otherwise, we're just going to go through the agenda and let's see. Judith, mic is yours.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I also want to join everyone in thanking Paul for everything you've done for Mission Bay. It's wonderful all the years that you've done, and it's obvious from what people have said, you just did a great job, so thank you. Secondly, I'd like to again welcome Marshall to the committee. And then I want to make a little bit of an apology. I did not know I was going to be chairing this meeting tonight, so I'm not really prepared. I wanted to meet with Andy and Mike, but maybe we can do that before the next meeting. And also, Mike, I want to say is that I'm not at home. I'm watching this on my iPad mini, and I don't have the ability to see the chat. If you had said people want to speak the chat, so you're going to have to let me know if someone wants to speak. Okay. And the other thing I was going to say is that I don't have the knowledge and experience of the park and the bay that many of you do, but I just want to assure you that I do have experience chairing nonprofit boards and committees. So just hang in there with me and I'll get up to speed. So the first order of business is the approval of the minutes of April 6th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
Is that
Make a
David?
motion to approve. Stephanie Smith.
Stephanie, okay.
Is there a second?
that.
Who was
Thank
that?
you.
That was Ron? Stephanie and Ron?
Giovanni.
Oh, Giovanni, okay.
No, Giovanni.
Okay, I got that.
All in favor?
I'm going to go ahead and read the rule.
Oh, that's right.
Go that
Okay,
route, so
thank
that's
you.
good. Ron Anderson,
Approve.
Marshall Anderson.
Probably abstain. I wasn't
I'll have to
officially a
abstain.
member.
That's right. Giovanni,
Approve.
Jeff Johnson's not here. Carrie Logan's excused. Judith,
Approve.
David Potter.
Approve.
Okay. Stephanie Smith
Approve.
and Darlene. Darlene is not here. So the motion carries, and that's going to be, what is it, 5-0 with one abstention. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-0 with one abstention. So Judith, before we go too much farther, as the chairperson, you have the option to vote or break ties. That's something we need to kind of get out as housekeeping right now. So are you going to want to vote motions, or do you want to break ties for all the motions?
So I have to do that. It has to be absolute for all motions, or you can do it motion by motion.
Right. So as the chairperson, you can elect when you take the office if you want to be a voting member, or if you want to be a non-voting member and break any tie. You'd only vote if there's a tie. So Paul was a voting member. It's
Okay.
your call.
I'll be a voting member unless I change my mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put that in the minutes so that way it works. So that way you
Okay.
count today's meetings. Okay.
Thank you.
We're done with that item. And it looks like we do have some communication, some public comment. We have no request for continuances. We have some public comment. I had one item come in through the web, and this is from Willie Gardner. And Willie reads, why is the bathroom at Bonita Cove not open? It has been out of service for the last 18 months. When will it be reopened? The new playground has a lot of children in the restrooms and needs restrooms. So I was able to reach out to our friends with Public Works, and we all know that West Bonita Playground Project and the restroom project has been going on for a while. And Public Works, the resident engineer responded saying, we are waiting for electrical parts of the required ground defective system. The lead time is still 6 to 8 weeks out. So we have no electrical at that restroom. So the restroom remains closed and it's fenced off, and there's portable units in place until that restroom's open. So there's the answer to that. And we have one other, we have one other public comment. We have a guest here today, and that's going to be Bradley. Is it Chanel from, go ahead and introduce yourself, Bradley.
Hi, my name is Bradley Chanel. I'm the lessee of the old Mission Bay Visitor Center, and we've been getting a lot of comments because we're getting close to finally opening. And is it possible for me to share some photos from today? I think, Mike, you're on mute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. You've got a couple of minutes. Go ahead if you can be quick.
Okay, great. It'll be quick. I'm sorry, I have to accept something.
So Bradley, if you're unable to share, go ahead and make your comments. We could share at a future meeting with a little spreadsheet. I could put you on the agenda for a future meeting if you want. All right, we lost Bradley.
We lost him. Yeah.
Oh, there he goes. We got him back in. Bradley, you there? There he goes. Okay, it's all yours, Bradley. Is he on mute? If you might be on mute, Bradley, try to unmute.
Unmute. Start video. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, better that I'm presenting than just to myself. So as I was saying, what was formerly the Mission Bay Visitor Center, we are nearing completion of the very first phase of this really exciting project, and we're so happy to have the opportunity to, really fulfill what we promised when we took on the redevelopment of the site, which was to preserve and restore the existing building, which was exceptional, and find a way to create a really accessible, family-friendly place for people to actually enjoy the outdoors of Mission Bay Park, in a restaurant setting. So this is, let me kind of start with this. We're still in process. We're working to be open here probably in the next month or so, lending itself to a few more approvals and such. But I'm just going to kind of take you guys through some photos that we're really excited about. We decided to rebrand the entire property as the Mission Bay Beach Club. And we're going to be opening with two of the three businesses basically that will be sort of occupying the site, which is the Super Bloom Coffee and Juice, which is going to be a vegan coffee shop with fresh juices and some pastries, as well as some other light items. We're finalizing our beer and wine license with the alcohol board right now to have outdoor wine tastings, and as well as beer on as well. This is what it's gonna be like, and we're really excited to finally be almost open. In addition to Super Bloom, we're also going to open at the same time Beach Bunny Rentals, which is we're going to have paddle boards and bikes for rent, as well as a small shop for odds and ends that you might need when you go to Mission Bay Park. And we think, the reason why we're calling it the Mission Bay Beach Club is that we think that, what this amazing public park really needs is a clubhouse where people can get things that they might need when they are at the park. And so we're just really excited. I mean, I'm here to answer questions if you have them, but just generally wanted to share some updates, because I know there's been a lot of visibility with the plants going in and everyone kind of curious when and what's going to happen.
All right, Bradley, thank you very much. You can stop your sharing. There's not a lot of time for debate, but I really wanted to bring you on, and maybe before you open, we'll bring you back again and you can share again. We'll put you on the agenda under agenda item. So thanks for your time, Bradley. Keep up the good work, and things are looking good. I saw the new landscaping going in, so things are looking nice out there. So
thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time.
Okay, Judith, that's all the public comment that I received, unless there's I don't see anybody else. Kevin or Jane, I don't see them raising their hand. So go ahead and with a chair report, if you have one.
Well, I obviously don't have one, except I was just going to say again, I'm sorry that we're not meeting in person to say farewell to Paul and to thank him. And any idea when we might meet in person again, Mike?
Yeah, so that actually came up in one of our meetings today. We're kind of following the lead with City Council. So I don't know, Carrie, have you heard anything from City Council meetings? Because we're kind of following their lead. So nothing's really been shared with us.
No, nothing's been shared at this point. We're still waiting for the stay-at-home order to get lifted, which is supposed to be the governor's lifting June 15th.
Okay.
So hopefully after that, we'll have some information for you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move right in. Go ahead and next item on the agenda, Judy.
Yeah, staff reports, Carrie, District 2.
Yeah, hi everyone, Carrie Munson from District 2. A lot going on in the area. I'll try to keep it brief. Last month, our council president put out a statement regarding the Derek Chauvin verdict and her relief and hope that justice could be achieved for the George Floyd family. Our city council will keep working toward equity and justice to create a better San Diego for all. Also last month, SDPD and the council president went to a small business owner hit or not tie in Pacific Beach, whose business had been vandalized twice due to a hate crime. If someone you know has been victimized by hate crimes, reach out to SDPD. Don't be silent. Our office also has established a COVID-19 response and recovery committee to eliminate COVID-19 and help our economy recover. As chair of the committee, co-chair of the committee, she wrote a letter to the mayor requesting guidelines to support safe reopening of the events industry. The events industry supports a wide range of jobs in San Diego, which includes venues, lodging, food service, transportation, event planning services, and more. We need to safely reopen this critical industry to help bring back our vibrant tourism. We are pleased to announce that the city council voted 8-1 in favor of the short-term rental ordinance, and the mayor has now signed that in. So we are now happy to have an area where we can return homes back to the San Diego housing market and bring peace and tranquility back to our neighborhoods. We'll be working with development services during the budget process to ensure that they have enough budget to support increased employees to support the enforcement of this. Our office is working with the mayor's office to create an ordinance to regulate short-term vendors. We will create guidelines to keep Mission Bay and the beaches beautiful. And last, we're in the middle of budget hearing month. So this whole month, we will be hearing from different departments on what the city budget will entail. Encourage anyone to attend and everyone to attend the event, the special city council meeting on Monday, May 17th at 6 p.m. for public input. This is your opportunity to be engaged in the budget process and give your input on what you want to see in the budget. And last, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our monthly newsletter. There's a lot going on in the district and in the city, and it's a great source of information for you. Any questions?
Thank you, Carrie.
Mike, I'll send you a copy of that so you have it.
That would have been my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Is Rick here? Rick Romero? No? Okay. Is
Yes, I'm
Brandon?
here.
Oh,
Rick's
thank
here.
you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, hi, good evening. Sorry I missed a few meetings in the past, but been very busy. Just a couple of reports to report for all of you. Our swim zones are now open in Mission Bay on weekends. That's considered Bonita Cove, Ventura Cove, Crown Point, De Anza, and Leisure Lagoon. Those are staffed on the weekends. Our first day of summer is June 11th on a Friday. That's when we have full staffing in all Mission Bay, 7 days a week. And of course, all the small towers along the ocean front. We've been stepping up our enforcement on boating safety very, very hard. My crews are working pretty good at it. Definitely proud to report we had no vessel accidents in April on Mission Bay. We've been really hitting the issue of illegal jet ski rentals on Mission Bay with lots of numerous citations and impounds. And we'll continue to do that, working with SDPD. A couple other announcements. We had that grant boat from last year. It's finally getting funded and being built. We should have a delivery date of around November, December of this year for a new multi-use fire rescue boat that's grant funded. We've also applied for continuance of the Save Grant, Surrender and Vessel Exchange grant from the state, taking care of some of the abandoned vessels and anyone who wants to turn the vessel. So we applied again for the next fiscal year. Hopefully we'll get rewarded, and we've asked for an increase of the amount. Those are some of the announcements I have, other than just being extremely busy with all kinds of stuff. Any questions from anyone? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. And I think I saw Brandon.
Hi, Brandon Broadus, Northern Division CRO. Not much to report right now. We have reestablished our harbor unit, so we're going to have people out on the boat this summer. We've received 5 new patrol officers. So what that does is frees up some of the senior officers to create a new a 4th beach team for the summer. We are ramping up for Memorial Day weekend. Lieutenant Aguilar is putting together the 4th of July already, just to make sure we're ready to go. Other than that, just wanted to open it up to questions. Anybody have any questions for me? I know that Carrie and Rick and other people have had to answer a lot of questions for me already. So is there anything I can answer
have a question. Last time you mentioned that you weren't able to tow the RVs that were kind of broken down. Has that changed?
It hasn't, not yet. We're still waiting for that as soon as we can. We are still citing. We are going out there and writing cites to that, the RVs for the oversized ordinance. We're just waiting for it to open up. As soon as it does, we'll start towing if we can.
Hey, Brandon, just a heads up. I like to go shoot hoops at Santa Clara Rec after nightfall. It changes like 180. And I think a lot of it has to do with those private stalls there. People go in, they shoot up. There's a lot of exchanges. I've noticed a few. I've called it in and not emergency. Just maybe increased presence over there. I know you guys are stretched thin, but just wanted to flag that for you.
Thanks, Marshall. And that's we are addressing that because you're not the first to let us know, and appreciate it. Our homeless outreach team has been over there. We've sent them over. We've let the patrol officers know, and our beach teams also, so they are aware of it. Me and the Lieutenant Aguilar periodically will take off and go for a drive through the area. And just like you said, we don't see it during the day, but like you said, I'm sure there's that 180 at night. So we are out there roaming around periodically. So just checking on things because it's hard to see things from the office.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, then thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Brandon. Christina Chadwick.
Yeah, I think she signed off. She doesn't have a report. I'll take the Parks and
Okay.
Recreation report.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, Mike Rodriguez, Mission Bay Park District Manager. I just wanted to say a couple things with Brandon and both Rick and Brandon. So we are seeing a lot of the illegal watercraft vendor, the rentals, so like individuals renting watercraft. So Parks and Rec did add some more signs around all the launch ramp areas saying illegal watercraft vending is prohibited. So I think the word's getting out because we're getting more and more calls of how to become a legal vendor. So we've got those signs up at all the launch ramps. And Marshall, back to Santa Clara restrooms. That project is actually in a final design stage, and we are going to be rehabbing those restrooms. We're putting in the split bottom doors, so there'll be more visibility for the officers and the staff. So we're trying to design it to alleviate some of those nighttime issues over there. So that's part of my report. This is budget season for Parks and Recreation and the City of San Diego. And the good news is there's no bad news. Right now, we are fully funded in our budget. Normally at this time in May, we would be going through a budget presentation showing what the proposed cuts are. And right now there isn't any proposed cuts for Parks and Recreation. So we've kind of been rescued from the federal government in a lot of aspects. And Carrie's shaking her head yes, and that's a good thing. So we are getting through FY22 budget pretty unscathed from the Parks and Rec. And we are actually adding positions for some new facilities. But as far as Mission Bay Park, we had some maintenance positions slated to be cut, and those have been restored. So we're going to be fully staffed going into the summer, it looks like. So that's the good news for the budget.
Very good.
Right. We're interviewing for the maintenance positions. So we're getting ready to hire all those positions right now. They had interviews today for the seasonals, and next week for the full-time, the grounds maintenance worker, full-time equivalent grounds maintenance. We'll get those staffed. And then from the Ranger standpoint, it is California lease term breeding season has started, and we're getting daily reports, and they're starting to get a lot of sightings of a lot of activity. So we're hoping for a good breeding season for the California lease terms. And so far it's been strong. Let's see, maintenance and park rangers are out in action, just like police and just like fire and lifeguards. We're out there. It's going to be an early summer. So Memorial Day is coming up. The weather's great and people are coming out in the park, and that's what it's all about. So we're getting our visitors back and people are excited. We're not permitting gazebos or large gatherings at this point. So maybe after June 15th, that may change, but we're not at that point. What's that? Yeah, for Parks and Recreation and a whole, like the rec centers are doing a phase reopening because Johnny kind of told me that that's going to happen. But as far as permitting for shelters and gazebos for gatherings, that's still going to come. And we're still working on the reopening plan for the Fiesta Island Youth Camp. So hopefully by June 15th, we can start getting that youth camp open to those nonprofit youth groups. And that's all I have from a Parks and Recreation standpoint. Let me see what else. Yeah, let's see the curfews. I do have that. So the park curfew update, Christina wanted me to mention that the Faneuil Street Park will need Coastal Commission permitting. So that is a risk factor if we don't seek approval from the Coastal Commission and get a permit. So we're going to be working with our city attorneys. It'll have another visit to City Council Christina, anything new on that? Do you have anything new? I think our curfews are moving forward, right? In May or June? Do we have a date?
Hi, everyone. Yes, we are moving forward. We're working with the city attorney's office now with revised legal guidance that they have provided. So we're working not only to revise the staff report and some of our materials, we'll be heading back to city council to begin that process once again. Likely the latter part of the month, I would say around May 25th. So we will, as soon as that date is determined, we will make sure that all of you are aware. So we appreciate everything that you all have done in the past and will continue to do, to move this thing along. So thank you.
And that was for the nighttime curfews of the Mission Bay Athletic Area, Faneuil Street Park, and Library Park. So we're still moving forward on all three of those. Okay, so that's all I have, Judith. No more stuff.
Mike, I had a question. How are things at Crown Point with the fires and the music and all the complaints we had about that?
So as we heard earlier, some things don't go away. The dogs, the fire rings, the alcohol. It seems like that's been going on for over a decade. So the fire rings are a hot topic this summer ever since COVID started. There is some information in the news I've been reading about La Jolla and some areas, but the fire rings are still available and they're open to the public. We're trying to, keep them under control, and hopefully people are using the designated fire rings. They're not having the illegal fires. That's a bigger concern from the park standpoint and the police standpoint. So fire rings still remain. I haven't heard much on the guidance, but there has been a lot of inquiries regarding fire rings. So as far as the after-hour parties, the Crown Point stuff, I haven't heard a lot of complaints from that. And there's nobody on the line today to really share much more, except for, oh wait, who's over there? Ron? Or no, who's our Crown Point person?
That is I.
Yeah, that is you.
I can tell you the last few weeks, it's been pretty good, actually. We haven't heard too much. There's been a couple small ones, but it seems like they at least shut it down 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think now, I think I've seen some people actually, residents, when people are starting to set up in the afternoons with lighting system, speakers, whatever, they sort of infer to them that, hey, you know what, you continue this on, the police will be called. So I think maybe the word is getting out a little bit that it's not acceptable to do that. So the last couple of weekends, I haven't heard any loud thumping parties going on. Alcohol, though, is a different story. I mean, there's obviously people going to be drinking in the parking lots and on the beach and everything, but not the loud parties.
Okay, so then the third topic I just got in the chat are the dogs. So the dog hours has been a hot topic with us as well. And Christina, you're here as well too. So staff is preparing a staff report for council committee to amend the hours that dogs are allowed at Mission Bay Park. Some of you remember that. We're going to loosen up some of the restrictions for the dog hours. So we have prepared a staff report, and Christina's working with council offices now to get that on a committee. Anything else, Christina, on that? I think that's really where we're at on that. So we need to go to council committee, then full council, because that is a change in municipal code as well.
Thank you. So we have no action items, nothing on consent, Mike?
Nothing on consent. We do have one action item that'll require, well, that's before us tonight. Item 201. Do you see that one, Judy?
201. I'm trying.
I'll go ahead and take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Item 201 is to support community requests for increased amenities in the Ocean Beach area parks, presented by Nicole, is it Bueno, from the OB Planning Board. Nicole, go ahead and introduce yourself. And we're basically focusing on Dusty Rhodes Park and Redfield tonight.
Hi, yes, it's Nicole Bueno in Ocean Beach. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I am a member of the Ocean Beach Planning Board and chair the subcommittee for the parks over there. And what we have been doing in the last several months is looking at, our local area parks. Thank you for whoever is sharing this for me. Thank you. And basically talking about each of our parks each month with community members to focus on how we can increase amenities in the parks and increase community enjoyment of these public park spaces. So I know that this is sort of a a long presentation that I had sent out. And of course, I understand that your purview is just Redfield and Dusty Rhodes, so we'll focus there. I hope you all did have a chance to kind of go over this presentation and kind of get a feel for the context of where we're coming from with these requests. I am a native Ocean Beach resident, and so I grew up with these parks, and I'm now raising my children here in this community, and we are frequent park users as well. So I just want to thank you all for, you know, all your work to make our parks really great spaces to raise our families in. Okay, so Redfield, we had requests from the community. Of course, this is a main recreation space in Ocean Beach that's used from not only local Ocean Beach residents, but residents throughout San Diego. And of course, we included it in our Ocean Beach Planning Board Parks Subcommittee report because it is so highly utilized by local residents. But so what I'm here to do tonight is really just get your feedback on some of these things. I think that there are some overlaps with your current CIP project list that we can go over. But so let me just read this out. Redfield Athletic Field is the main recreation space in Ocean Beach and home to many activities that draw users from all over San Diego. Community requests include the addition of a disc golf training course around the perimeter of the park, a bike path connecting the San Diego River Bike Trail to Bacon Street Bike Corridor, an updated playground space, a community art wall, horseshoe pits along the west side of the fields, and a community garden space. And so what I've done on this slide is just show a couple representations of what those things might look like, along with some suggested perhaps locations for some of these things. And I know, you know, that you guys will probably say, well, some of these things we can do and some of these things we can't. So I'm just here to present our wish list and get your feedback, of course. Okay, so moving on to Dusty Rhodes Park, which of course is a multi-use field, dog park, and playground. There's a lot of maintenance issues in this park. I went out and did field interviews with a lot of frequent users of the park and heard a lot about the maintenance issues, as well as when I reached out to the Dusty Rhodes Park Council. But in short, the community requests for the park border around primarily, well, let's just start with the dog park, an ADA accessible path that connects the two parking lots at Dusty Rhodes, bordering along the outside of the dog park to increase accessibility to the restroom facilities for users of the dog park. Currently, there's quite a few elderly individuals that I talked with that would benefit from not only having a more easily accessible pathway, but also another gated entrance so that the pathway was more accessible. Let's see, some shade trees or shade structures. Some of the feedback that I got from the Dusty Rhodes Council was that trees probably would not hold up in the dog park. And so perhaps some actual like built structures would be better. I'm sorry, let's see, what else here? Benches, shade structures, lighting, a top operated watering station. Apparently there's a lot of issues with the water situation there at the dog park, causing a lot of standing water issues, which of course is a threat to dog health. There's a lot of giardia and other problems that can be, you know, from standing water. So, and then there was a request to add a sports field, a soccer field with dedicated bleachers into the Dusty Rhodes Park area. However, when I talked with the council, they said that this park has been flagged for passive use only. And so that a sports field would probably not be welcomed there. But that wasn't, that was a community request. There's also the concern about ample parking to support a sports field that came from the Dusty Roads Council. So, but and then on the playground, pardon me as well, playground improvements, including an ADA accessible substrate and shade structures and safety fencing around the playground to prevent children from running into the adjacent parking lot there. I think that covers everything. And just water bottle stations, protective fencing. These are all recommendations that I think will really increase the usability and enjoyment of the parks. And I would love to hear your feedback on what you think is feasible and what you think is too far out there. But of course, with the very pure goal of, just increasing enjoyment in our parks for, all sorts of families, elderly individuals, and everybody in between.
All right, Nicole, thank you very much. It is an action item today, so I think what you're looking for is not only input, but you're looking for support. And since only Dusty Roads and Rob Field fall under the Mission Bay Improvement Zone, those are the only two items that we really can take action on.
Of course.
Does anybody have any questions, or we could support her moving forward? None of these projects are in our public works plan or any budget items, and we'll talk about that at our next meeting. So these are more park amenities that you would like to get support moving forward so you can take this to your next level. Is that correct? Okay. All right.
Yes.
So Judith, it's back to you.
Okay, so is there a motion to support this or comments? Because it asked for comments first.
I just have a couple of questions, comments.
Yes,
first of all, just for clarification, Mike, I think the playground in Dusty Roads, isn't that on for an improvement there on our CIP list?
Yeah, we'll show that next meeting. I don't know if Ryan's on board, but I believe the Dusty Road Playground is one, so that's an overlapping item. And there's some work at Rob Field, but nothing listed in her report here. So Rob Field and Dusty Road is getting some improvements through the Mission Bay Improvement Funds.
Mm-hmm. And second, I was just wondering for the bike path to the Bacon Street to the river, would striping be a possibility? Because I know that is a kind of a wide road right there. Nicole, is that something you guys looked at?
I think that the conversation about the connection from the bike path, I don't bike that often, but I don't think that there's a very clear transition between where you get off of the bike path along the river and the Bacon Street Boulevard. I'm not even sure that there's any sort of striping or easy access pathway between those two connection points. And so I think that's where the conversation started, that we should really kind of connect those two things and make it truly, bike accessible throughout the whole area.
So just for clarification, because I do bike that area, when you do come off Bacon Street, there is a path that comes down and connects onto right where it bends into the parking lot there, and maybe some striping and some signage could be possible to notify people that this is what what you could put in there.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Anything to notify or delineate that space as a bike space, I think would be more than welcome.
Okay.
Are there other comments or questions?
I have a question, Mike. Are these improvements, since we already have the playgrounds and on our radar with the funding, is this some of these things, could we piece it out and easily include it within that? Or is this something that we need to scope out as a whole nother project that parks would need to look at, do studies, do some analysis of what's feasible, what's consistent with the plan, and then come back? I'm not really clear what it is that we're taking action on today.
Okay, so it's basically supporting the Ocean Beach Planning Group's amenities concept is all really. As far as funding goes, Ryan's on the line and he's kind of he's our funding analyst for Mission Bay Improvement Funds. What each park has is a unfunded needs list, and this would be added to their unfunded needs list. And as funding becomes available, we could start adding these amenities. Or we could do private funding, say disc golf. Say you get a group of people that want to fund a disc golf course, there could be a funding source through that way. So Ryan, some of these are on our list. How does it work? How do projects become on our Mission Bay Improvement Fund list? Do you know that?
So they would have to, for Mission Bay Improvement funding, they would have to come to the oversight committee with a specific plan in place, at least to get the project started. With the projects that are already started in this area, I don't think engineering and capital projects would add them to the scope at this point. It can be discussed with them if this plan has been sent to them. That's usually when we get a scope change, they would have to change the charter. It would not matter how far along each of the projects are to. I think most of them, looking right now, it looks like most of the parks in that area are in design right now. So it would have to be something we'd have to bring by the public engineering capital projects. I'm sorry, they change their name so often. It would have to be brought by them to see if it could be added to the scope of design.
So it'd be starting from scratch. So the first step is getting support, and then having the proponents bring it to us and requesting funding that way. We'd have to reallocate funds off other projects, which would be a little controversial in some aspects because funds are drying up, and you're going to hear later, we're going to have to reallocate some more funds at this meeting too. So, but the first step is to get support, get it to the unfunded needs list. Nicole will work with Steve Pauly with Community Parks Division 1, which he's probably already doing, and then get those and try to look for funding sources as well. So really just support is all we're looking for tonight.
For the sports field, what would be required to make it consistent? Would it require a park plan amendment?
Yeah. So we all have general development plans in all our parks. This would most likely be a general development plan revised. So it'd have to go through the planning groups, and it's a long process, takes like a year to do that. And it would take a lot of different meetings, but it can be done. We'd have to amend the GDP.
So Mike, what we're looking for now is a motion to generally support the OB planning board's request for increased amenities. Is that what we're looking for now?
Nicole is waving yes, and I would say yes.
Okay, would someone like to make such a motion?
This is Giovanni, I'll make the motion.
This is Ron.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Giovanni. Go ahead, Giovanni.
I was going to just move to approve the concept as presented, and where possible to move certain projects to the unfunded needs list.
I will second. Ron Anderson.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and read the roll. Ron Anderson.
Approve.
Marshall Anderson.
Aye.
Giovanni.
Approve.
And Judith.
Approve.
David Potter.
Approve.
That's a yes. Stephanie Smith.
Approve.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the concept as presented and adding it to Community Parks 1 Division unfunded needs list. And that's what it'll say in the motion. So the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Looks good.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate all the work that you do, and look forward to talking with you more about this in the future. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So we have no workshop items.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Nothing else.
Information
Anybody
items.
has a report. And we
Okay. So committee member reports, does anyone Want to make a report?
I didn't get any in advance, so we're probably ready for adjournment. We have one more meeting to go.
Okay. So we don't need a motion to adjourn, do we, Mike?
No, so
Okay, so we're adjourned at 7:01.